Next session is a fireside chat, and today we'll delve into balancing the value chain from production to customer, exploring strategies to optimize the entire value chain. There again will be opportunities for Q&A, so please do raise your hand if you have a question and the microphone will be brought to you. I would like to welcome our moderator and panelists for this fireside chat. So please join me in welcoming Adil Rashid Khan from Frost & Sullivan, Mr. Mark Carson, Director for Customer Experience and Quality MEF with Renault, and Mr. Keith Souls, the After Sales Director for Wall and Trading Company. Please join me in welcoming the three gentlemen on stage.
First of all, thanks to Automechanika for keeping up with the discussions and allowing different levels of industry experts to come on stage and discuss different aspects of doing business, growing business, and being in contention going forward. So a quick introduction round from all of us. First, I'll go ahead myself. I'm Adil Rashid Khan. I'm a principal consultant with Frost & Sullivan, and I'll be moderating today's show. I'm based out of the Riyadh office, and I head the mobility practice for Saudi Arabia in Frost & Sullivan. Over to you.
I'm Mark Carson. I'm the Director of Quality and Customer Experience for Renault for what we call AMEC region, which is Africa, Middle East, Pacific. So we stretch from South Africa across to Australia, but our office is based in Dubai, and I've been in Dubai for 13 years now, where we really started to grow our international operation from there.
Thank you, Mark. Nice to have you here. Keith.
My name is Keith Souls. I'm the After Sales Director for Wall and Trading Company. We hold the franchises for many brands: Hyundai, 40 years, Geely, Renault, and of lately Lotus and Zeekr.
Thank you, Keith. Mark and Keith, it's a pleasure to have you on the floor today, and let's hope we have a good discussion going forward. So we'll quickly jump to the discussion topic of today. So basically, what we are trying to do is we're trying to understand what it means to be a customer-focused entity, right? We've got Mark from the OEM side, and we've got Keith from the channel partner side. Of course, Keith has been part of the Saudi growth journey, so he has intensive knowledge on the changes and what is coming forward. And Walan Group, being a multi-branded family house, they have had experiences with different vehicle OEMs in the past. So quickly, we'll start off with the discussion. So the first thing that I want to talk about is to basically set the mood for today's discussion. Understand the OEM perspective as well as the channel partner perspective on customer engagement. How do you look at customer engagement currently as well as going forward into the future? Wherein the way Frost & Sullivan defines customer engagement is basically on 4 scales. It can be a proactive engagement, it can be an advanced engagement, it can be a leading engagement, or it can be a next gen engagement. Now, what do I mean by proactive? These are terms that we as consultants use to segregate and define the market. Proactive engagement is where you have a dedicated team and a dedicated focus of the company towards customer engagement, right? What do you mean by advanced? Advanced for us means where your customer engagement is a part of your business goals, where it is a conscious part of the OEM as well as the partner to look at customer engagement as a specific business goal. It's not just the question of a department or a team, but it's a specific goal as an overall business. When we talk about leading customer engagement, here the customer engagement side of your business is leading your entire customer strategy, right? So this is how we look at customer engagement. And lastly comes the next gen engagement, where we are deploying zero contact tools, we are deploying generative AI, we're looking into the future, and we are trying to understand what the future of customer engagement can be. So over to you, Mark. Please take us through Renault's vision of customer engagement in the region.
Our vision is really twofold. So we are proactive and leading.
Very nice.
on the basis that more from the leading point of view, to be fair, we'll look to Wallen for more from the leading, because Wallen for us are our eyes and ears in the marketplace.
Of course, yeah.
So they know the customer, they know the strategies, they've been in the marketplace a lot longer than we've been
Of
in the
course,
marketplace, for sure, which was one of the reasons that we partnered with Wallen for their expertise.
Mhm.
But we want to introduce our strategies
Yes.
on how we see customer engagement,
Mhm.
which, working with Wallen together,
Mhm.
we then deploy from the point of view is that we look to grow our brand
Mhm.
in the region, because being from a European manufacturer, it's always a smallish percentage market share,
Mhm.
and to get the recognition, you need to partner with the right person
Local, yeah.
who understands the customer strategy, and
course.
because it changes. And
Yeah.
if we take the country from Saudi Arabia's point of view, when I came here 13 years ago, and I look at from what it was then,
Hmm.
the way the
A lot of
country has
changes,
changed, the
yeah.
demographics have changed, the strategy is totally different. And
Yeah.
moving forward, it'll evolve, I think, year on year on year from
Very
that
much,
side of
Very
things.
much, very much, very much. So we'll speak more about the evolution a little bit later into this discussion, because the evolution is the theme of this event,
Good.
right? From being just traders of vehicles and auto parts, now we are looking at manufacturers of vehicles, auto parts, and technologies. So of course the evolution is huge. We'll keep talking about it during the discussion. Keith, your take on?
I think when
Yeah.
one looks at customer, one has to look at the ownership experience.
Of course.
The ownership experience comes from what does the customer want.
Hmm.
So from a dealer point of view, do we know the customer?
Hmm.
Do we know the need of the customer? How do we reach out to the customer?
Mhm.
What are the mediums?
Hmm.
How well do we listen? How well do we react?
Mhm.
And how well do we understand the need of the market
Mhm.
versus what the competition has to offer?
Okay, okay. One quick question directed at Walan as a group. Since you are handling so many brands, as a company, is your focus your own focus, or is it an OEM driven focus when you look at customer engagement?
When one looks at it, it's a two prong. One has to look at market share
Mhm.
through regaining, retaining,
Mhm.
and gaining customers.
Mhm.
So therefore, it is a joint venture between manufacturer,
Of course.
supplier,
Yeah.
and us as a dealer.
Yes. Very
And
much.
ultimately, it is what we deliver to the customer jointly.
Of course, of course. As Mark mentioned during the start of the discussion, you are their eyes and ears into the market. So, I mean, they may be the thinking brain, but you will tell them what to do and what not to
Yes.
do.
So they are totally dependent on our market expertise,
Yeah.
our knowledge of the customer,
Mhm.
the need of the customer,
Yeah.
and what is happening with competition.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we are that guide to enhance
course,
their
of course.
goals as well.
Yeah, yeah. Because global OEMs, like Renault, like Hyundai, like Toyota, the giants of this world, they have their own way of looking at every market, right? But you, as a market expert, you can tell them point number one is applicable to Saudi, point number three is maybe applicable to Hafar al Batin, not applicable to
Yeah.
the
So
MAM.
we would look at it from a regional perspective.
Yes.
We will
yes.
look at it from a localized perspective.
Mhm.
We will also look at it from legislative perspectives.
Of course,
Where the OEM would not consider the local laws,
yeah,
and we have to tie the local
of
laws
course, of course, of course.
to meet all
Of course.
expectations.
That's one of the key challenges, every industry participant keeps talking to us about is, are the local legislations, understanding them, benefiting from them, and, capitalizing on the options available. So, coming to the technology side of it, as you can see, technology is probably the keyword in the Saudi mobility sector at the moment, right? From your perspective, Mark, what do you think? I mean, how are you applying the changing technology towards positive customer engagement on your part?
If I look at it from 2 points, if we take a European market, European market, because of policy makers, decision makers, and government surveys that
Support,
put into
yeah,
place,
yeah.
etc.
Yeah.
Electrification obviously
Yeah.
has taken over there very
It's
quickly
way progressive,
because countries have come and said no more ICE vehicles.
Correct. Correct.
So Europe with CAFE
Yeah.
has been forced in that way.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
it's government policy that's
Yeah.
been set throughout. With that has come big changes from a technology point of view,
Yeah.
more connectivity,
Mhm.
and the customer. The difference in the customer between the two, when you look at it really, the customer likes to be more physically engaged here,
Mhm.
whereas the trend and the culture in Europe now is not to really have a direct engagement
Mhm.
with anyone from a dealership. You can have pick and drop service.
Mhm.
You book
So
online.
zero contact
It's,
services.
it's become more and more zero contact.
Yeah.
And if you look, if
And
you take,
customized as well.
exactly,
Right?
and if you take outside of as a retail,
Hmm.
retail here
Mhm.
is shopping malls. It's more about people want to touch
Yeah.
and feel.
Correct.
COVID,
The brick and mortar side of the
yeah,
game,
and
basically.
COVID changed, I think, a lot
Exactly.
of things.
Yes.
So COVID has driven technology to accelerate
Mhm.
because everyone did online shopping,
Yeah.
no one went out, blah blah blah, and they've taken it as a norm.
Mhm. Mhm.
Here, similar thing happened, but then everyone's gone back to the retail
Yeah.
thing. So we have quite a challenge in the fact is we have policies that are set
Mhm.
on the basis of being more digital,
Mhm.
whereas here you have to try and balance that
Both.
and slowly
Yeah.
ease into it
Correct.
with all
Correct.
these type of digital
Correct.
initiatives that
Yeah.
we've got.
Mhm. Digitalization is actually, I mean, this is what I addressed in my talk yesterday. Digitalization is a very fast-paced, growing trend for us in the country at the moment. As per our market intelligence, close to about 40 to 50% of the customers, automotive parts buyers, are willing to buy parts online. They're willing to buy. If you provide them with the quality and the assurance, close to 40 to 50% are willing to buy parts, which is an absolutely new world altogether. Because if you have seen the Sanayas and the auto hubs, it's like thick with activity. There are a lot of people coming and going, a lot of garages, a lot of customers walking in, and yet people are almost half of the population is willing to buy online something as specific as vehicle parts, which makes it more important for OEMs as well as channel partners to have the technology focus. Keith, over to you. What is your take on the technology part?
When one looks at the technology from a dealer's perspective, one can see our investment towards online contactless programs.
Mhm.
Uh, when you look from a manufacturer point of view, we are moving to autonomous cars.
Mhm.
We are moving over the air diagnosis.
Mhm.
When we talk about the modern car for next year,
Mhm.
self-diagnosis
Yeah,
directly to the customer's cell phone.
correct.
We are talking about software updates
Yeah,
via the air.
yeah.
We talk about contactless service booking.
Mhm.
We talk about home-to-home service, car collection, paperless society, paperless or moneyless society,
Hmm.
all
Transactions
EFT
online.
transactions online.
Yeah.
So when one looks at the involvement from a technological point of view,
Mhm.
not only the vehicle,
Mhm.
but the way our people manage the process,
Very much.
the way the process is changing,
Yeah.
and the way our applications are changing is on full speed. To give you an idea, we've now appointed an information technology specialist director
Wow.
who will transform
That's
the
nice.
digitalization of our business
That's a good strategic
from
move.
next year.
Yeah, yeah. That would have been my next question. As a group, how focused is Valan on implementing technology as a daily business practice? It's not just a function anymore.
Yeah. So when one looks at our ERP system or our dealer management system, it will become fully self-integrated.
Right.
It will do the customer contact directly out of the system based on parameters set,
Brilliant.
contact cycles, service reminders, trade-in evaluations. So the whole system will drive all of this without any human interaction.
And Valan's focus is external as well as internal, because you mentioned
That's-
training evaluations
Yes.
as well.
So it will be a two-pronged internal, external,
Very nice.
and this will be tied in with the manufacturer's systems,
Yes.
which integrates our systems directly with the manufacturer.
Very nice.
So the sharing of data, the pull and the push,
Yeah.
will be at all automated processes.
Interesting, interesting. So, since we are talking on the evolution of the supply chain, when it comes to supply chain resilience, I would like to understand from both of you, being part of the industry, what is your take on supply chain resilience once it comes to this evolving nature of the car, the business, the entire economic paradigm? So, what do you how can you comment on supply chain resilience in this changing times, basically?
It's quite a difficult question, to be fair, when you take that on resilience, because the way things have evolved for automotive in the past 5 years and the next 10 years,
Yeah,
we're at a point of where will it end? The
exactly.
business has to change,
Of course.
and we have to be very, very resilient. From an after-sales perspective,
Yeah,
we are going to see a massive change, because with electrification, servicing today.
yeah,
The main provider in after sales is maintenance.
maintenance. Yes.
Maintenance will reduce.
Yeah,
The intervals will increase.
yeah,
There'll be no need for oil change, etc. So
Correct.
revenues will change.
of course. Yeah,
So this is where the resilience for the supply chain,
yeah,
for connectivity, etc., we really need to develop in those areas. So already, if you look at it, we take Google is a norm.
yeah,
In majority of vehicles that are connected
Yeah.
in Europe, they have Google.
yeah,
So Google apps, you can download app into the vehicles. You will start to have, we work already with predictive services. So we know the customer brakes X amount of times, the style he drives in, the service he needs. So all of that is part of the building which will build our resilience for our supply chain. Obviously, for the two of us,
yeah,
it's most important
of course.
from that
of
side.
course, of course.
Because his business, we rely on his business,
Yeah.
and we rely on the customer as well
Correct.
from that side.
Correct, correct. Very true. Because the way we look at it from Frost and Sullivan side, there's a lot of upskilling which is required for the existing labor force, right? Because the overall vehicle is converting from a mechanical entity to an electronic entity, right? Software dependence is increasing, your predictability increasing. Vehicle as a marketplace, those concepts are coming in. Subscription based, revenue streams, they are getting opened up. So the entire change from the traditional way of looking at aftermarket is definitely evolving going forward into the future. Keith, your take on this?
Yes, when we look at electrification and the new evolution vehicle, we are changing our thinking, our paradigm. We are beginning to more focus on customer retention through education,
Yeah.
through software application sales,
Yes,
value-added products.
yes,
The business of tires will become more important. Uh, Collision damage will become more focus points.
yes,
Where today it is sideline business
Yeah,
or
yeah.
secondary,
yeah,
it will have to become primary business.
yes,
The next thing we're going to have to look at future is the end of the life cycle of the vehicle.
yes, very much.
We're going to have to consider the disposal. How do we dispose of the vehicle safely?
Yes,
How do we meet the legislative requirements
Yes.
around that? And that will create more opportunities in the future as well.
of course, because with the Vision 2030, the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, it's an obvious target, right? So circular economy has to come into the picture one day or the other, and there have to be, going forward, there will be stringent, rules and policies established in these cases when it comes to end of life. Not only just the vehicle products, batteries, tires,
Components, etc.,
sensors,
yes.
panels. What are you doing with them once that life is over?
And I think this is something that, as a country, we haven't yet considered.
Yeah,
And I think from a manufacturer point of view, because what Mark said earlier, there's no push from the Saudi government yet.
yeah,
But when it becomes to a European standard, all these factors will have to be considered.
Yes, very much. And I mean, we have seen in the past 4 years, the push from the government is going to be very accelerated. So
Already 25% for Riyadh. Riyadh has to comply within the next 3 years, 25% EV vehicles.
25%, yeah, that's the target. So
That's the target set by
exactly.
our government.
And the investment scenario we've seen throughout the day today, the investment scenario, the support structures, the government is offering a free hand in everything practically.
So when one looks at it, the partnership between OEM and local, we can see Lucid,
yeah,
Hyundai investing in infrastructure,
exactly.
local product to be built in Saudi
Yeah,
for Saudi.
yeah,
So not only supporting Saudi-built products, but
Mhm.
reducing importations,
yeah, yeah.
localized, and that will also give us job creation
Of
future
course,
as well.
of course. So that's where the sustainability of the supply chain is very very
Important,
much
yes.
ensured, because we're looking at from a global perspective to a local perspective and
Yeah.
going local.
So I think coming from the investment point of view into KSA economy,
Hmm.
the likes of Lucid, Sia,
Yeah.
Hyundai coming on board
Yeah.
lately, will see massive of foreign investment
Of course, of course,
to bring this local
of course,
capacity.
of course.
And
Mark, you want to say
that
something?
point, you were quite right in what you said there when you look at the supply chain, because you talked just earlier about remanufacturing.
Yeah.
If you look at it now, as a company, we set a project up just after COVID, and we turned our FLAN plant, which
Mhm.
was producing at that time the Zoe electric car
Okay.
and the Nissan Kit car,
Mm-hmm.
into a remanufacturing plant.
Ah,
So we
interesting.
already
On the path.
remanufacture vehicles. So the sustainability aspect of it
Hmm.
has already, it's one of the biggest projects that the company
Yeah.
have moved to.
Yeah.
But we see for the future, to be more sustainable and make the supply chain resilient, we need to introduce remanufacturing.
Of
So
course, of
the
course.
big initiative, very successful initiative as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we heavily, because of all the different global
Yeah.
initiatives, green initiatives,
Correct.
was one of the first things that was done just
Yeah.
after COVID, and it's worked very successfully.
Yes, yes.
So it's something for this type of region. When you look at the number of cars on the road
Hmm.
and what happens to the number
Yeah,
of cars
yeah.
on the road, because really, I'm quite used to scrappage schemes,
Yeah.
etc. In Europe, there were scrappage schemes to remove all the old cars off the road
Exactly.
and continue to make everything more resilient.
Correct.
There were scrappage schemes. There's a lot of old cars on the road. You
Yeah.
could probably remove
Yeah.
it with government incentive, but use for remanufacture as well.
Yeah.
So it's a very open, wide subject as
Yeah,
well from
yeah,
that.
of course, of course. I mean, the session previous to ours from Roland Berger that spoke about circular economy. That's like the I mean,
Which it is,
yeah,
circular economy.
after electrifications as the hottest
Yeah.
topic in the country, and everyone needs to look at it from a value regeneration perspective. That once you complete using a particular product and a service, how can you regenerate and pull it back to your revenue stream? So it's profitable for businesses all over, right? So we'll quickly go on to the next subject, which is basically talking on integration and collaboration. See, we have discussed this throughout the length of our discussion today. What it means to integrate with the local players or to integrate with the global OEMs from a channel partner perspective. If you could bring in something more on the importance of integration and collaboration in this aspect.
For more, I mean, it's more the knowledge of the market, their understanding of the market. It's probably, it's quite strange because the network, I think, is one of the other most important things. Is if you look at in a subsidiary, European subsidiary, you have a network of dealers.
Yeah.
When
yeah.
you look into outside, international markets now tend to have smaller number of players in each market, with probably one player. With the manufacturer is more with a distributor partnership relationship rather than the manufacturer being operating. So the collaboration is very important from that point of view. We need the collaboration to put the brand into the marketplace.
Very much.
From that
Very
side. And I think we understand now is that the local businesses know the market
Yeah.
and they know the strategy of the market
Yes, very much.
much more than we do.
Of course.
So we use their expertise
Yeah.
with our product,
Yeah.
obviously from that
The
side.
the way we look at it is, we look at both the OEM as well as the channel partners as co-creators of value. That is what we see in this region. The difference lies between OEM to OEM on the brand strategy of the OEM. Certain OEMs do not have any local presence. They are they close their eyes and ears and they're like, you decide whatever needs to be done. Some OEMs have city-wise local teams and they're like, I'll be part of every daily decision that you make, and it differs from that. I mean, these are the two ends of the spectrum, and it helps in both the cases to collaborate both ways and create the business plan and the positioning based on global expertise and the local flavor. So Keith, from a channel partner perspective, how important is it for collaboration?
I think over the last 4 years, 5 years, we have seen that the partners have come closer to the distributor.
Very much.
As you rightfully said earlier, they just left us to be.
Yeah.
They are now more involved of the business, the decision making,
Yeah.
the customer-centric values that is added, the decisions around delivering the best customer service, the best product,
Yeah.
the best packages, the best support, warranty extensions, online collaboration.
Yeah.
From our point of view, we are sharing data back to the manufacturer more than before. Who's our customer? What do they want? Where are they? What are their likes, their dislikes? What's their pricing?
Yeah.
What's their buying capacity? What is the segments that is expecting ABC?
Yeah.
So we see these collaborations coming more and more closer,
Brilliant.
and the fact that they are based in our region
Yeah.
makes the communication channel
Much easier.
much easier.
Yeah. And the way we look at it, one day channel partners are going to make changes in design also, right?
Yeah.
Because R&D inputs will also come from you, right?
Yeah.
The local inputs have to be incorporated one day or the other into the entire value chain of an OEM.
So when we looks at quality of any of the products that's available in the Saudi market,
Yeah.
from a automotive perspective,
Yeah.
the quality begins to become more superior and more stronger, because whatever we identified as weaknesses within the product,
Yeah.
we have 24-hour resolution,
Oh my.
which means if you take one of our brands, they will send an engineer from the source country within 24 hours.
Wow.
So we can address the concern of a customer
Yeah.
much quicker
Much quicker.
than what we used to do before.
Brilliant.
So
Brilliant.
this is the collaboration and the result of
Very
the
nice.
successful
Very nice.
partnership
So you would say the transition is on the right track,
is on the right track.
and we are looking at
Yeah.
more collaboration from both partners in
So
creating
on
this.
any day and any week, we could have an engineer from any manufacturer coming to look at quality products problems.
Brilliant.
We
Brilliant.
also have portals where we would upload quality products problems, and if it's a quick fix within an hour, we will have an online technician
Okay.
from abroad
Virtual support.
diagnose in virtual support.
Very nice.
So technology support through the partnership collaboration has become better for the end user, the customer.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Now coming to we've discussed a lot of changing trends, changing technologies. I would like both of you to focus upon what are the challenges that you see in this regional partnership of an OEM and a channel partner. What are the challenges and the difficulties that you are foreseeing going forward into the future? Apart from price negotiations, of course.
Price, they're always challenging.
Yeah.
I think generally the evolution that we're currently seeing with the vehicle itself,
Yeah.
the introduction of connectivity will be a challenge for numerous reasons.
Yeah.
We face a lot of regulatory issues, which for this part of the world, standards and regulations
Yeah.
are quite difficult for what we're used to.
Exactly.
Various different things, e-call, etc.
Yeah.
So connectivity will be a challenge. It's okay bringing that type of technology, but does it fit with the market?
Yeah.
It's understanding from people in other areas
Yeah.
what the market needs, what and what the market wants. You mentioned earlier one thing which is quite interesting as well: subscription.
Yeah.
Because the way things are changing, do people really want to own a car?
Exactly.
Do you know
Yeah.
that's a question, a challenge. Today in this part of the world, people will own a car.
Yeah.
When you look at other parts of the world, now people have come to, well, do I want to own a car? I
Yeah.
only use it
Exactly.
once or twice a week.
Exactly.
I know people here more use it, but then subscription becomes more acceptable,
Yeah.
more attractive
Yeah.
from that point of view, and especially a subscription where you can drive 2 or 3 different cars.
Exactly. Exactly.
So then the B2B and the B2C changes.
Yeah.
Does it become a B2B with them
Hmm.
because they'll drive the subscription
Hmm.
rather than
Or is it a direct
B2C?
model?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's for a B2C with a customer. So that for me is some of the challenges we're really going to face because it will come.
Definitely.
It will come.
Definitely.
And I think the other biggest challenge for this market is electrification.
Hmm.
It's like, because obviously I'm from Dubai,
Mhm.
I've seen we were the
Yeah.
first manufacturer to put an electric car into
Yeah.
Dubai.
Mhm.
When you look at the way the infrastructure hasn't grown
Hmm.
at the rate
Hmm.
the vehicle sales have grown in the last couple of
Exactly.
years with Tesla coming into the market, etc. It's become very demanding.
Yeah.
And I know electrification is high on the agenda here,
Yeah.
but you need to have the infrastructure because
Very much.
people still today, may do 500 kilometers,
Hmm.
but in the back of your mind, when you're
what
used
if?
to going
Yeah.
to someone doing that in 30 seconds or 2
Exactly.
minutes,
Exactly.
and someone 40
Exactly.
minutes for a quick charge,
Hmm.
people still have that anxiety, and it's
Exactly.
changing a culture and education.
Yeah.
So all of those things, if you put even the education point of it,
Yeah.
the way people want to be, the mobility that they're looking for,
Mhm.
I think the change of mobility is more of the bigger challenge for me from that point
Very
of view.
much.
And that will change the way we work from a business point of view.
Of course. Of course.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah.
that will be the other area that I would look at.
Sure. Keith, what do you say? What would you say the
When
challenges?
we look at the challenges, we also look at the opportunity. As Mark was saying, subscriptions,
Mhm.
we have targeted subscriptions to a select market segment. So we will take the high end customer,
Mhm.
and over time we will integrate it and offer it to the low end customer as well.
Understood. Understood.
The other thing, as Mark rightfully said, infrastructure.
Hmm.
I have met with many role players and stakeholders
Mhm.
from Electroman and all the people prepared,
Mhm.
and this will also take a long while.
Definitely.
I think the biggest challenge facing new technology will be the residual value of the future car.
Yeah.
Because if one takes the cost of a battery replacement
Oh yes. Yeah.
versus the trade-in value,
Yeah.
the cost of a battery will be more than the trade-in value.
Of course.
So will we have a second-hand car market,
Mhm.
or will that market totally disappear? So I think that is how will we dispose of those vehicles
Definitely.
future. Will it be a second-tier owner,
Yeah.
or will it go straight for scrappage?
Very much. I mean, the way we look at the growth of electric vehicles in Saudi Arabia is, we look at it that the product cannot grow until unless the infrastructure is readily available, as well as the mentality to adapt is readily available. That is where PIF partnership with AVIC, we had gentlemen from ABB come and present over
Siemens.
here. Yeah, Siemens, Schneider.
Yes,
So the
Schneider.
network development and the mentality development, that is going to pull the product into the market. That's how we see it
So
growing.
I think as an integration into the market, it will be the elite few
Hmm.
who want something totally different.
Yeah, notional value. Yeah,
That will rub off to the rest of the people saying,
Correct.
I also want.
want it. Yes,
So that will create need.
exactly.
And as that is happening, infrastructure will develop organically
Parallelly.
around
Yeah,
it.
yeah, 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 yeah. So I guess that brings us to the end of the session, and
Thank you
I
very
think
much.
we are on time. So
We're on time.
thank you so much for both
Thank
of
you
you
very much.
sharing your insights. If you have any concluding remarks, you can make them, or else we can start taking the questions.
Yeah. I think in closing, from a importer perspective, the challenges that the market right has now is that it is fast growing.
Yes.
It is becoming one of the preferred industries.
Yes.
It is becoming an important financial segment
Yeah.
of the economy of Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
And I think that the support from government, manufacturer, OEMs abroad, and the focal point will be Saudi Arabia as their main market.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Keith. That's a brilliant summary of, what conditions we are in, what is the future that we're looking at. So we can take questions if we have any. Done.
That's good.
Well, thank you so much, gentlemen. It was a pleasure talking to both of you, and wish you all the good luck for the future.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ah.